I really love how Frankenstein's whole personality changes when he gets into a fight. He's a much different person when he's fighting than he is when he's around Rizel or his students, and I love that we get that dichotomy. What is up, y'all? It's your man, Dad Dude, bringing you guys another video. I'm giving out subscriptions down below, so if you like Noblesse, I review every episode, and I also talk about other anime too, so go hit that button. I believe it was in my video on episode 7 that I said it appeared that Frankenstein's whole personality changes when he gets into a fight. Up until that point, we had only seen the calm and collected Frankenstein, but when he was fighting Takeo, there was a whole new savagery and a real enjoyment of the fight that we hadn't seen from his character. Now, after having seen the flashback and we got to see Frankenstein in his younger days and what his personality was back then, we know that him enjoying a fight is more staying true to his younger self than it is like some kind of new development in his character. Young Frankenstein really enjoyed the fight, so it's no surprise that present day Frankenstein would really relish the opportunity to unleash his full capabilities and fight a noble. I was a bit torn on how the fight with Raya went. On one hand, yeah, I think it's really good for Sarah's character that she stood up for herself and that she intervened on her own behalf and that she told Raya to his face that she wanted him to leave and all that stuff. I think it's really good for her character and the story as a whole. But on the other hand, I really wanted to see Frankenstein just wipe the floor with Ryle. It was Frankenstein's first time bringing out his dark spear, and like present day Frankenstein's first time bringing out the dark spear. It was his first time unleashing his true powers as present day Frankenstein. So it's got to be the first time he's unleashed his true powers in what, almost 1,000 years. If he has to get Rizel's permission to release his full abilities, and Rizel's in the coffin for 800 something years. Yeah, almost 1,000 years since he's unleashed his full capabilities. I was really wanting to see him like cut loose and go crazy and just destroy Ryle. But that's not what we got. Sarah just had to butt in and stand up for herself and grow a backbone and yada yada yada. Like, yeah, it's better for the story and her character that she did that, but it doesn't change the fact that it didn't give me what I wanted. I wanted to see Frankenstein go all out and fight Ryle, but hey, sometimes you don't get what you want, and you gotta acknowledge that it was better for the story maybe that I didn't get what I wanted in that moment. Yet another episode where M21 just gets beat up. Like, I thought we were past this when Rizel gave him the power up, but I guess not. I guess he's just destined to get his ass kicked all the time. Like, I really feel bad for my dude. I thought he would catch a break eventually, but no, he just stays getting beat down episode after episode after episode. There is one constant, and that constant is that M21 will lose a fight. I did, however, find it very heartwarming that Takeo and Tao were just so upset with themselves for not being able to help M21 in the moment when they were fighting against Ryle. If you can even call that a fight, it wasn't really a fight. Ryle just came in and jabbed his hand through M21's midsection. But I like that they were so mad at themselves for not being able to help in that moment that they were then willing to go to Frankenstein and ask him to help them out, give them a power boost so they could be more useful in the future. I like that M21, Takeo, and Tao have bonded so much. They do have kind of a common origin story where, of course, M21's origin is a little more brutal than theirs, but still, the Union kind of fucked over all of them. Tao never really liked what he was doing. You could tell that Tao was a good dude who just kind of got, we don't know what his exact circumstances were yet, but he was just put into a group where it made use of his capabilities that he didn't really agree with what they were doing. Takeo, obviously, he was being lied to about his sister, which is why he was doing all those things for the Union. And the M21 was just someone that they were experimenting on, and that's why he was there, but he never enjoyed being part of the Union. So they do have commonality there, and I like that they're bonding. But I do wonder if any kind of power boost they get, as like being Takeo and Tao from Frankenstein, is that going to be as powerful as a boost you would get from Rizel? Because anything Frankenstein can give you would be more artificial, and any kind of power boost you would get from Rizel would be more natural, if you could call it that. But since I think Rizel is, I think he worded it as bringing forth M21's full potential, or bringing out his latent abilities or something like that, unleashing his full power. Is Frankenstein doing something similar, or is he adding, or is he artificially boosting how strong you are with whatever, say, scientific techniques he has? Like, we know that Frankenstein has the capability to do that kind of stuff. He obviously was able to synthesize the abilities that he has now and give himself powers that are like comparable to what Nobles have. So is he going to be able to give Takeo and Tao a similar boost? Would the boost he give them, given how powerful Frankenstein is, would that make them more powerful than M21? Or is a boost you get from Rizel better, or are they just comparable? it brings that kind of stuff into question. Speaking of Frankenstein doing experiments, this may be a very small detail, but it's one that I think is very important, and that is the show never really showed us Frankenstein's lab or him really having the capability of doing all these scientific experiments until after we were introduced to him in the flashback. And we saw in the flashback that Frankenstein was able to come up with a way to artificially recreate some of the abilities that nobles have, and then use that to fight against them. So it's really good for the story. It's really good storytelling and really good plot building that they didn't show us Frankenstein's lab in the episodes before the flashback. They didn't show us him doing experiments in the episodes before the flashback. We had no idea that Frankenstein had those kind of capabilities until after the flashback, and we were introduced to young Frankenstein, and we got to see for ourselves without the show being like, hey, this guy's a scientist. Hey, he's a scientist. Look, a scientist. No, we just got to see him going about collecting nobles to run experiments. And so then we saw that with us as a viewer could see that, okay, Frankenstein has these abilities now. We see him use these abilities. And then when they come back to present day, now we can go into his lab, and it's not just a show pulling something out of his ass, where we have already been introduced to this aspect of his character now. And that is good storytelling. That is good plot development. I like that so much more than a lot of shows where they give you a character and then boom, all of a sudden this character is an expert doctor, expert scientist, expert hacker out of nowhere, where you were never really introduced to that skill before. It just popped up because the plot needed it. Whereas in this, no, they waited till they introduced that ability in a flashback, and then when you come back to present day, you see that character use what you saw them be capable of in the flashback when you were introduced to it. It is such a much better way to tell a story. Another solid episode of Noblesse. I am really excited for what's to come in episode 10. Rizzo is making his return to Lucadonia, however you say it, whatever. The place that the nobles live, he is making his return to that place. So I really want to see what his relationship is like with the present Lord, and how maybe their relationship was in the past, because she was obviously very young when Rizzo was still there. So maybe they don't have much of a relationship at all, and that may be why she doesn't trust him now. Also, I really want to see Frankenstein beat the shit out of Ryo, because fuck that dude. I want to see a rematch of that, and I want to see Frankenstein unleash his full capabilities and not have to worry about fighting in the city. No, I want to see Frankenstein just go all out. I want to see him bring out the Dark Spear, because we haven't really seen him use the Dark Spear to its full capabilities without losing control, because in the flashbacks he kept losing control, but I'm assuming now that he has full control of the Dark Spear, so I want to see him use it. Anyways, guys, all I have for you on this one. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, and if you are so inclined, subscribe and share. It will help me out a lot. If you didn't like the video, hit me up in the comments so we can talk about it. I respond to almost everything. I'll see you guys in the next one.